Hey, shalom, 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 everybody. How y'all doing? Welcome back to Reading with Shilo. What up, baby? I'm Shilo. I'm out with you. What's the business? We're back with the next episode where we're going to jump back into the medical apartheid by Miss Harriet A. Washington this morning or today. Today, it's a.m. We're going to jump into the medical apartheid and see what's going down. Let's keep rolling through the pages and see what we can learn and grow from Miss Harriet A. Washington. And hopefully we can find some good stuff. And so far, it's very informative. The last couple of things we was talking about was the Tuskegee, some of the Tuskegee experiments, uh, um, the contraceptive experiments. It's quite a few things that Miss Harriet, Miss Washington was going into. So, but it's all gravy, man. We're gonna keep pushing. We're gonna keep pushing, man. We're gonna keep pushing through the book. We about halfway. We're almost to the halfway point. We are almost to the halfway point of the book. Looking good, feeling good, man. Feeling good, reading. Proud of myself. Like, comment, subscribe to everybody who come in. You know, man, leave me a message on the chat. You know, say what's up. Say what's up when you come in. Let's get the engagement going. Somewhat, you know, I'll engage somewhat when I see the comments. You know, if it's something I need to speak on, I'll speak on. If you new, when I come across words I don't know, they will be looked up. So if you can't wait till I find, you know, what the word means or what the word is, or if this word is in any of my dictionaries, then hey, I don't know what to tell you, man. Be patient. Be patient. Patience is a virtue. So yeah, we're gonna work our body, work our mind, and work our body again. That's how it's gonna go. So let's do the first part so we can go ahead and get started into the show, into the reading. Part chapter 9, part 2, the nuclear winter. The nuclear winter, where they was injecting people with plutonium. And this boy, Mr. Cade, this man, Mr. Cade, man, he escaped. They thought that boy was about to die from a car accident, but that boy, yeah, that man didn't care nothing. Bones broke, all that, man. He had to set his bones back in place. It was ready for him to die so they could autopsy his behind. But that boy, hey, that man, hey, the willpower he had, he jumped his butt out that bed and made a move. I'm out of here, and lived longer than he would have lived if they would have had his ass. But yeah, that's that. So once again, no. But before we get back into Miss Washington's book, The Medical Apartheid. You did have one pop. I'm gonna cut this short. Before we get into Miss Washington's book, The Medical Apartheid, let's go ahead and do our 25 things. 25 things, man. Yeah. I'm gonna jump down and do my 25 things right here. Oh man, good googly moogly. I'm gonna do 25 push-ups. 25 push-ups or so. So what you gonna do? I don't know what you came to do. But I came to get some things done, baby. So let's go ahead. Let's go ahead and get everything going. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, one more, 25. All right. Let's go ahead and get this going. Let's get this reading going. Let's go ahead and get this reading going. Oh, 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 oh. We gonna read about you. All right. 25. All right. So the stream seemed to be all right yesterday. The stream seemed to be all right yesterday uh, with the laptop. So we're gonna give it another go today. We're gonna give it another go today and see how it fares. Catch a breather. Now I still think I need to get a microphone. I'm probably gonna need to get a microphone. We'll wait on that one. We'll wait on that one. The medical apartheid, the dark history of medical experimentations on Black Americans from colonial times until the present is what we are. All right, let's go. Up jump the boogie, baby. Get your shit together. Let's go. So, the nuclear, the nuclear winter, the nuclear winter. Part 2 of Chapter 9. The medical apartheid, Miss Harriet A. Washington. Hey, when you come in, like I say, like, comment, subscribe. Let me know the chat is working. So yeah, we'll get to it. We'll get to it. Everything changed in an instant on September 3rd, 1946, when Allen fell from a train in Chicago. He fractured his left leg, a very common occupational injury for a Pullman porter, for whom bouncing from just stopped trains to platforms was part of the job. But the Pullman's company refused to accept responsibility for the accident. And Allen hobbled from the hospital to his home for recuperation that was never to be. The Pullman company terminated him without compensation of any kind, leaving him unemployed and unemployable, with a dwindling bank account and a painful, swollen, ulcerated leg that wouldn't heal. A private physician diagnosed chronic inflammation and hemorrhage in his knee, but could make no recommendations for a cure. And suddenly, the sunny foothills and swirling mist of the bay composed, a mocking backdrop to Allen's growing anxieties. And with a painful halting gait, he dragged himself up and down the steep streets of San Francisco, searching for a doctor who could straighten his leg and deaden the raging pain. A year later, his knee had swollen to 3 times its normal size, and while his bank account shrank to $25, mounting medical bills and overdue rent drove him in desperation to the place he had avoided for so long, the University of California, San Francisco, UCSF Free Clinic. There, he was diagnosed with chondrosarcoma, a cancer of the bone. And on July 18, 1947, Allen's left leg was injected with plutonium 238, an even more radioactive isotope than the plutonium 239 given to other patients. He had just become subject, Cal number 3. This never should have happened because in late 1946, between the injections of Cade and Allen, the Judicial Council of the American Medical Association had set new standards for the protection of human subjects. In order to conform to the ethics of the American Medical Association, 3 requirements must be satisfied. The voluntary consent of the person on whom the experiment is to be performed. That was number 1. Number two, the danger of each experiment must be previously investigated by animal experimentation. And number three, the experiment must be performed under proper medical protection and management. Furthermore, the AEC physicians could hardly have pleaded exemption on the grounds of military or governmental expediency, because in April, just a few months before Allen was injected, the AEC had passed its own, more specific rules governing medical experiments with humans. My bad, excuse me. I'm sorry. It should be suspectable to proof from official reasons that prior to treatment, even individual patients, being of an understanding state of mind, was clearly informed of the nature of the treatment and its possible effects, and expressed his willingness to receive the treatment. In review of the recommendations, the Commission does not request that written release be obtained in such cases, but it does request that in every case, at least two doctors should certify in writing, made part of the official record, to the patient's understanding state of mind, that to the explanation furnished him, and to his willingness to accept the treatment. These dense, wordy AEC regulations also required an exception that it may have therapeutic effect. But after the February 1995 UCSF review of the case file, the hospital admitted that Allen's physician had expected no therapeutic effect. So the experiment had violated that rule as well. And Allen's medical record indicates that he was told something of the procedure he was about to undergo. And two doctors signed a medical chart note to that effect. But the statement did not confirm to the AEC's own standards, because the physicians neither explained the true purpose of the injection nor sought Allen's permission. Like I said, that's the one thing I do like about my phone, the height on the thing. Hmm. Allen's family says that the injection was described as a form of therapy, a last ditch measure to save his leg. Allen's daughter, Elmarine Whitfield Bell, adds, "My father was not an educated man, and even had they told my father that he was injected with plutonium, that would be like telling him that he was injected with ice cream. He would not know the difference." And 3 days later, Allen's leg was amputated. And today, Bell feels certain that her father's bone cancer was a deliberate misdiagnosis made so that the researchers could amputate and study his leg. And I don't think there is any record, any place of anyone living more than 8 years with such a bone cancer he is supposed to have had. He is supposed to have had. Actually, people with chondrosarcoma that is treated appropriately often live a normal lifespan. So Allen's longevity was not unusual, And in Allen's medical chart, UCSF doctors had indicated that patients with this type of tumor frequently survive many years beyond diagnosis if there is complete accession of the primary tumor. This provided a compelling therapeutic reason to exercise the area around the tumor and perhaps to amputate Allen's leg. All praises. What's up? Welcome. Shalom, whoever you are. The doctors characterized his tumor as malignant, but slow growing and late to metastasize. Prognosis, therefore, moderately good. They were right. And Allen lived until age 80, 44 years after his diagnosis of bone cancer. But who could not understand his daughter's distrust, and which was shared by her close knit community after the revelation of her father's exploitation? The first thing people did when they learned of this was express sympathy. The next question they always asked was everyone in the experiment black? And they were not. But by most accounts, 18 Americans were injected with plutonium. But according to the July 1947 statement by Robert Stone, by race, there were 15 whites and 5 blacks injected. Thus, in the plutonium experiments, black constituted 25% of the subjects at a time, when they were approximately 10% of the population. And this means that their rate of involvement was 2.5 times greater than it has been, given what proportion of the population they constituted. Yeah, shalom, shalom, UL. Shalom. However, there is no indication that blacks were specifically sought out for plutonium injections, as they were in some other experiments. The dearest cause of Allen's experimental status were not medical, but social. And although he lived for 4 decades after his amputation, these were dark ones for Allen. He moved in with his family to his wife's hometown of Italy, Texas, but was unable to readjust to life in the South, where his physical disability and psychological pain made it difficult to find steady work. Allen drank excessively for a while and suffered epileptic seizures. Worse, he was unable to shake off the conviction that he had been abused by the San Francisco doctors and robbed unnecessarily of his leg. With uncanny accuracy, he insisted that he had been subjected to experiments related to the injections he had been given, and insisted that doctors had taken his leg not to save his life, but in order to study it. Allen spoke often and bitterly of these convictions, but not even his family members took his suspicions seriously, even though enough to ask why they had arisen. Only Allen's best friend, Joe Speed, believed him, and Speed told journalists flatly in 1994, they genuinely pigged him. They guinea pigged him. When I called Elmer Allen's widow, Fredna Allen, in 1994, she was gracious but firm. My emotions won't allow me to discuss this, but you can try talking to my daughter, Elmarine. My father's life was not good. Elmarine Whitfield Bell sighs from her home in Italy, where she has taught for decades at the Edison Middle Learning Center in nearby West Dallas. You know how difficult things are for African American men, especially a man with little education. Think of it. He was lucky enough to land a job paying $400 a month, plus tips, in the 1940s. He worked for 6 years, but to suddenly lose a leg and his job and have to move back to the South from California, which he loved, with 2 small children to be supported by his wife. Just imagine. Bell's voice trails off. Then, more resolutely, she continues. Despite it all, my parents managed to send 2 children to college and live middle class lives. But The AEC's deceit extracted a terrible price. I remember a lot of things, like how my father would insist that the doctors had experimented on him, then amputated his leg to study it. I felt, "You're mistaken," recalls Bell. "My father and I had a personality clash, and I never made peace with my father. I never did understand why he was the way he was. And I know now why he always insisted something was wrong with him." His family did not believe that Allen's amputation was medically necessary either, but they saw it merely as an expression of the intense insensitivity toward devalued African American patients, not as an experimental scheme. Moreover, it did not help Allen's credibility when the family doctor, David Williams, MD, called him a paranoid schizophrenic. When I saw what I saw was a fellow who had a lost limb and became an emotional cripple because of it. He probably had paranoid schizophrenia all his life. Far as doing things, I thought he was using this possible exposure as a crutch, a reason, rather than doing as well as I would have liked to have seen him do. Government scientists had also lied to Williams, denying that any plutonium injection had taken place. And in 1973, government scientists at Chicago's Argonne National Laboratory Center for Human Radiology, CHR, told Williams only that they were bringing Allen to the CHR and to the University of Rochester, 2,000 miles away in upstate New York, for follow up. And since, as they put it, he had this unusual malignant tumor as shown and has shown such a long survival time. But the 3-week journey to Chicago and Rochester, replete with flowers, limousines, and first-class private car on the Texas Chief, and a $400 honorarium, was not a celebratory jaunt to probe the secrets of Allen's longevity. Rather, it was scientifically necessary because the scientists had to retrieve Allen's body tissue in order to inventory the lingering radioactivity and to measure any resilient physical damage resultant, to measure any resultant physical damage from the experiment. Now, Argonne placed Allen in its whole body counter to assess his skeletal radiation. Scientists cataloged his X-rays and even collected the test and tested his urine and excreta. excreta. They found radiation-induced jaw abnormalities and similar changes in Allen's other bones. Allen was then swept off to Rochester, where monitoring of his urine and stool found that although his leg had been removed days after the injection, traces of radiation still lingered in his tissues. Allen died in a nursing home in 1991, just a few years after Elaine Welsom's writing publicly validated his lifelong claims of abuse. Excuse me. "This has really turned our lives upside down, my brother and me," says Bell. "But my mother relives this experiment every day. Every day she thinks of the 50 years she and my father were together, trying to figure out why she was so naive and couldn't pick up on the fact that this was the government's doing. And my mother has been a very moral person all her life, and why we couldn't even gossip in her house growing up. But now she doesn't feel too good about herself." More radiation experiments were to come, and in some cases, blacks were only sparsely represented, and in some, no evidence can be found for their participation at all. And in others, they suffered at higher rates than did whites. That is, they were present at rates greater than their representation in the population. And in still other radiation experiments, they constituted a large majority of the subjects. And some of these experiments focused specifically or exclusively upon African Americans. Oh, I'm reading terrible. I'm reading terrible. The plutonium victims were not the last blacks to be transfigured by radiation, but neither were they the first. The cleansing light of science. The cleansing light of science. The first recorded black victims of radiation experiments lived around the turn of the century, long before the dropping of the atomic bomb. And near the end of 1895, German physicist Wilhelm Conrad Roentgen, Roentgen discovered the magical light. He found that passing electricity through special gases at low pressure generated electromagnetic radiation with strange and powerful properties. The rays imparted fluorescence and enabled him to make images that rendered solid objects transparent. Now, alive to the rays' potential for seeing inside previously opaque objects, but flummoxed, flummoxed, but flummoxed, by their mysterious nature, flummoxed, by their mysterious nature, Roentgen resorted to calling them X-rays, and doctors found the delight that the X-rays could reveal all manner of skin blemishes, cancers, and even previously hidden internal problems. Let me see what the word is. Flummoxed. Flummoxed. Have you ever been flummoxed? Flummoxed. 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 It had me flummoxed. The objects alive to the rays' potential for seeing inside previously opaque objects, but flummoxed. FL. FLU, 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 flunky, fluky. Flummox is not in this one. Let's check that one. It's like flabbergasted. No, that's just the thing. UL, we won't see it. Flummoxed. FLUMM. Flummox. Flummox. It says to confuse. Confuse. Alive to the rays' potential for seeing inside previously opaque objects, but confused by their mysterious nature. That goes together. But flummoxed by their mysterious nature, confused by the mysterious nature, Roentgen resorted to calling them X-rays, and doctors found with the delight that the X-rays could reveal all manner of skin blemishes, cancers, and even previously hidden internal problems. And during the same period, physicians successfully experimented with radium for the purpose of healing. Radiation enjoyed a beneficent medical image, and scientists sought to seduce African Americans as well as whites with its power to heal and to purify. Any doctor who wished to embrace the newest fad in medicine could advertise at his radium or X-ray treatments, and most of the doctors who did so treated patients in private clinics rather recklessly by our standards, and they were intentionally unaware of and later insufficiently concerned by the dangers of repeatedly bombarding patients with high radiation doses. Patients were even given bits of radium in glass tubes to carry about with them so that they could treat their own skin blemishes or superficial cancers. And physicians soon ventured beyond medical therapy to explore profitable cosmetic uses. And as early as 1900, doctors touted radiation to blacks as an escape into whiteness. A long-winded headline in the January 10th, 1904 New York American announced, burning out birthmarks, blemishes of the skin, and even turning a Negro white with the magic rays of radium, the new mystery of science. The New York Telegraph predicted all coons to look white. College professors have schemed to solve race problems. And while the Boston Globe biblically mused, can the Ethiopian change his skin or the leopard his spots? The radium light turns the Negro skin white, and all invoked by cutting edge technology of scientific light to efface the dark disability of racial difference and be and by every account, the black experimental subjects were not only willing but eager. They were eager. However, the news accounts were sketchy and error written, and no accounts seemed to have been recorded in scientific journals, nor were any follow up studies performed to track injuries. In 1904, an unnamed black man entered the Philadelphia offices of Dr. Thomas E. Eldridge, asking to have a facial birthmark removed. And the doctor told reporters that he successfully used a piece of radium in concert with x rays to bleach the blemish. Then inspiration struck. Why not continue bleaching the man's skin until he achieved whiteness? And after a month of daily treatments, Eldridge claimed that half of the man's skin was whitened and predicted he would be completely white within a month. Many newspapers joined the Boston Globe in citing Jeremiah 13:23. Can an Ethiopian change his skin or a leopard his spots? This was a favorite biblical passage of scientific racists who embraced it as a metaphor from the immutability of racial characteristics. And reporters wondered at the scientists' achievement even as they mocked the racial ambitions of the black subjects. True. But at the same time, Yoel says that the social construct wants to give a belief system that being of a lighter skin was better for you, not just physically, economically, but spiritually. I would say I think that's true, but at the same time, it's like a double headed. It is, but it ain't, because yes, they might have thought that, but at the same time, it's still they had a disgust for the mulattoes because they thought that the mulattoes was an issue. The mulattoes was going to be an issue. So turning them white or trying to change their skin color because of the thought of inferiority would have still been a problem and still would have been an issue because it wouldn't have changed, even though the skin color might have changed, the characteristics that they had already put upon them and already due to the slavery and other things wouldn't have changed. It would have took a while for that to change. So the already apparent racism due to the characteristics most likely would have still consisted and prevailed through the color of the skin or through the color that changes, the skin changes. Many newspapers joined the Boston Globe in citing Jeremiah. I'll reread that. I'll read it again. Many newspapers joined the Boston Globe in citing Jeremiah 13:23. Can an Ethiopian change his skin or the leopard his spots? This was the favorite biblical passage of scientific racists who embraced it as a metaphor for the immutability of racist characteristics. Reporters wondered at the scientists' achievements even as they mocked the racial am- ambitions of the black subjects. Since the news of the marvelous operation on his colored patient has become public, Dr. Eldridge has been besieged by Negroes who detested their natural color and wished to be changed to white men. Dusky mamas also have been imploring the doctor all day long to make their pickaninnies just like the white children. There's, a, there's something wrong with him, man. That's something wrong in his mind. Doctors understood that such irradiation was dangerous, and Eldridge himself said the danger of burning the skin of the patient being very great unless precautions are taken on the rays allowed for the only a short time to strike the spot to be treated. And a January 10th, 1904 news story in the North America, Philadelphia catalog, The Dangers of X-ray Bleaching. Its headline reads, X-rays don't turn a Negro white, says Professor Pancos. It is too dangerous. Skin burns and attempts to change colors would be long and painful. Oh man, at least somebody telling the truth. University of Pennsylvania radiologist Dr. Henry K. Pancos also questions its durability. And when the skin would regenerate white, would it remain white? And in 1908, the New York Times article, White Negroes in Paris, reported on a black expart, ex, expatriate, oh man, expat, expatriate. Let's see what the hell it is. I actually kind of hate when I have to look up words. I know it's necessary. I know it's necessary. I just hate doing it. But it's part. It's just part of something that comes with it. I need to keep it in mind. It's just what comes with it. If I want to know, I'm gonna have to look. White Negroes in Paris reported on the black expatriate, expatriate, who once ensconced the city of lights, arrived at the conclusion that the only beautiful people were those with white skin. And the man went to Philadelphia for radium treatment, and once white enough, he returned to Paris. The same propaganda that has people saying you have good hair or the good skin just because it is lighter or straighter. It's always started with the seeds of acceptance, even if not fully accepted. It's always good to look up the terminology of different ages to understand how they use it. Yes, it is. But it is tiresome. To me, it throws off for me, being that I'm trying to build up my reading skills, it throws off the reading for me. Because sometimes I feel like I'm going good, and then I hit a word that I have to look up to get the full understanding, and it kind of throws me off. But hey, it's something that I'm gonna stick to. I'm gonna stick to and keep doing it. Expatriate. P-A-P-A-T. Expatriate. Expatriate. I've heard that word before. Expatriate. Expatriate. It's not in here. Let's check the other one. Expatriate. Expatriate. This is not it. Express expatriate. There we go. It's two. I was writing my first thought of what it was. It sounds like the expats, like what they call them today, the passport bros. Living in a foreign land, expatriate, living in a foreign land. That was correct. Or expat. Reported on the black living in another land who, or the black expatriate who, once ensconced in the city of lights, arrived at the conclusion that the only black beautiful people were those with white skins. And the man went to Philadelphia for radium treatment, and once white enough, he returned to Paris. The man, however, had not reckoned with nature. He began to feel very uncomfortable, and then his skin began to change colors. In some places, it is gray, and in others, the gray is darkening into black. So that it is at the present moment, the Negro is full of contrition for having tried to desert his race. Most journalists assume that subjects were actuated by a belief that blackness was inferior, not by practical concerns such as escaping race prejudice. When the medical costs and burns and illness were invoked, these consequences were presented not as irresponsibility on the part of the physician, but as punished hubris. The new technology afforded scientific observers an opportunity to reaffirm the same belief belabored by Chapter Three's accounts of the white Negroes in the circus. Now, race is more than skin deep, and the white Negro is still a Negro. And doctors had probably anticipated a brisk business in bleaching the skins of blacks with radiation, but the publication of its side effects squelched blacks' interest. Physicians were more successful with non-Anglo-Saxon European immigrants to whom they offered radiation as a cure for another badge of ethnic inferiority. Dark and coarse excess hair. Physicians charge innumerous fees when they opened X-ray hair removal clinics with names such as the Hirsutic Laboratories in the 1920s. And advertisements in low middle class immigrant neighborhoods reassured the ambitious that freedom from unwanted hair opens the gates to social employment that are forever closed to those so afflicted. Historian Rebecca Herzig has described how the Mediterranean and Eastern European woman radiation has held out as a technology that would ease their entry into the impeccably white identity the white identity they desired by removing telltale dark hair from their upper lips, chin, and lower arms. But instead of hairless white skin, they developed radiation burns, cancer, and horrible disfiguration before suffering painful deaths. The resulting lawsuits spawned legal bans that eventually closed the clinics, and by 1970, researchers calculated that 35% of all women's cancers were traceable to X-rays hair removal. Man. We're gonna get to a stopping point. I'm gonna go ahead and stop here. Yeah, this is gonna be the stopping point. I'm on the side. This will be the stopping point for today's. Let me go up. Let me see how many I got down. Ooh, wait. We'll be all right. We'll be all right. Let me see. Can I go 2 more pages? Do we have another? So I'd really rather get to a stopping point such as this. This is a main stopping point for me. This would be, I don't like to just stop shit in the middle. In the middle, which I do sometimes. I don't like to, but we'll see. We'll get to that part and we'll see how much time I have because I still want to keep it at about an hour. I still want to keep it at about an hour reading. So we'll get to that point, see what time it is, and see how far I think I can go. If I think I can go another page to keep it within an hour time frame, I will. Let's keep going. All right. These blacks and ethnic women suffered burns, cancers, discoloration, tissue loss, anemia, severe sores, scarring, and hair loss. And such conditions were recognized as radiation side effects that also struck researchers who worked with X-rays or unshielded tubes of radioactive substances. Researcher Clarence Madison Daly, who manipulated X-rays in Thomas Edison's laboratory, was the first U.S. researcher to die from radiation-induced cancer. And in 1904, excuse me, and by 1911, more than 50 cases of X-ray induced cancer had been reported, and had the Nobel laureate Marie Curie, the discoverer of radium, were chronically covered with burns well before her death of radiation-induced leukemia in 1934. And that year, Black radiologist Rudolph Fisher, MD, a Columbia University researcher and one of the luminaries of the Harlem Renaissance, he wrote The Conjure Man Dies, the first mystery novel published by an African American, also died of intestinal cancer caused by his work. And by 1949, at least 65 American scientists had perished as a result of their work with X-rays, and no one recorded how many technicians, janitors, and support staff died. Yeah, they don't care about that because probably all of them people was people of color. But some radiation workers served as canaries in the coal mine. After World War II, the disappointing side effects of bleaching Negroes and the ugly deaths of the young white radium girls, hired in 1913 by factories such as Radium Luminous Material Company to paint the dials of luminous watches, and with radium-226 and the radium isotope mesothorium, gained the carnage in the wake of the Hiroshima and Nagasaki bombings and the X-ray epilation patrons to transform the public's image of the X-rays and radium. One beneficial and therapeutic radioactivity was now seen as a treacherously malevolent force. An American distrust of the scientists who wielded radiation for deadly but profitable schemes was projected onto the plethora of popular science fiction films that portrayed radiation as a scientific catalyst of horrendous aberrations of nature. Scientists were characterized as willing to exploit radiation's unnatural power for twisted curiosity, wealth, and personal glory, and even the popular meaning of the once neutral word mutation to denote a radiation-triggered change in tissue or genetics became malevolent, and the white light of science had been sold by bloody scandal. And when the government decided to test radiation on Americans after 1944, I chose to do so secretly. The next session is a little of the Bokenwild touch. A little of the Bokenwild touch. I bet that's another scientist or physician. Bokenwild. I'll stop there. We'll stop there. We're gonna stop there. We still got to do our 25 to go out. We'll stop there and come back the next episode with part three of chapter 9, Nuclear Winter of the Medical Apartheid by Ms. Harriet A. Washington. The dark history of medical experimentation on Black Americans from colonial times until the present. And so far, man, Miss Washington is about to go even deep in further into the radioactive and radiation and radium, the plutonium and radium trials, most likely, and the things that were done to so-called Black people in the name of science. And how much do they still do in the name of science today? Most people don't care about that stuff. They don't care that they are the guinea pigs. Shit was done in the name of science not more than 2 years ago. Shit is still being done in the name of science as of right now because of the shit done in the name of science 2 years ago. So hey, but people choose, that they let the fear mongering, they worried about other people fear mongering, but the government fear mongers just as much, even worse. Like the brother Yoel was talking about the propaganda. There's always some propaganda, and the propaganda can always be slighted by the one who is making the propaganda. And when you have a system where you can print all the money you want and not have an issue about it, ooh, you better not let me find my fly. Oh, I got it right, y'all. When the system is printing the money, you can do what they want to do with it. It's kind of there's nothing you can do about it. As far as like you can deny the treatment, you can deny the treatment with the knowledge that shit ain't right. You can try to infiltrate it and become a doctor yourself, so in your mind you can help patients, but you still have to go through the same system that they went through. You still have to get their certificates to be recognized, and most people, that's what they want. They want to be recognized by the power structure. They don't care that okay, well, this is right for my people, this is what's right. The hell with what they doing over there. But anyway, that fly better not land if I see him. Yeah. But anyway, we did 25. We worked our body, worked our mind, and we're going to work our body again before we leave. This is going to be the routine. This has been a routine for us to be able to try to build a habit. It has not been 30 days yet, and they say it takes 30 days for you to build a habit. So being consistent with reading, being consistent on a daily outside of the Sabbath, with at least 25 things before the reading and 25 things after the reading will help with the consistency of everything else. Now you get off your own ass and do more than a 25, but 25 is something to start, at least there. Don't make me be drill sergeant. Hurry up! Because I will. Get off your ass. Let's do something. These are the many things, getting off your ass and doing something is what can help you prepare yourself and give you a better healthy system, a better system, which is what you want. You want a better system so you can minimize your part in being one of these patients that we are reading about in the medical apartheid, being that these things are still widespread today. You want to keep your body as healthy as you can, especially when you have distrust for those who are in the business of setting up things for you. Here, you want this free treatment, but you have to question it now. At what cost? At what cost? What comes with it? That's why they have all these these commercials. Have you used Roundup? You may have mesothelioma. Have you been were you stationed at Camp Lejeune? Did you use these earplugs that we said was all right before? But now you may have hearing problems and you may be, entitled to a settlement. So you don't have to hear all that. So you don't have to be in the line, you know, you don't want to be in the number of those who take these different experimental drugs, be part of the experimentation, and you don't want to get caught up in it. UL says you have to ask yourself the question: does the system you entangled with have patterns that benefit you? Not really. People think it does. I think people think it does based upon the length of time and the length of time we've been in this system and the extent that the system has put things in place to keep you in a certain place. If we were in our own system, then we could see how the there really aren't benefits. There are patterns, many patterns, but the patterns don't benefit us, especially when it just don't make sense. If the things that they were doing, you're testing the inferior to use on the superior, it doesn't make sense. You should be testing the superior, and whatever you get that works on the superior, it will work on the inferior, or should work on the inferior in theory. In theory, but um, and most of the stuff that they use, even in experiments, it just don't have the same effect. It don't have the same effect on the copper colors, on the copper colors and the different shades of brown colored people. It don't have the same effect on them as it does the pink folks. Pink folks is different. Pink folks is different from brown folks. But anyway, let me get my let's get 25 in. We keep talking. I'm not tripping on that. But let's do our 25 and get that out the way. Especially since we have everything that we need to succeed. If you were able to open your eyes today, if you were able to hear my voice today, if you were able to think on any of the things that we are discussing or reading about today, if you are able to feel, if you are able to walk and move around, then you have everything that you need to succeed. The Most High has given you everything that you need to succeed, and you need to take it and use it and do not abuse it before you lose it. Use what you have, grow what you have, learn to be content with what you have because you have everything that you need to succeed. Let's succeed. Let's succeed. And be in lead. Yes, indeed. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and get mine in. Let's get some push-ups going there. 25. 25. 25 lighters on my dress. Oh, yes, sir. Oh, let's try something. Let's go. 25. Oh. All right. Oh no, I don't like that. 25. Don't cheat yourself. Do 25 things, whatever it is. You don't have to wait for me. Don't wait for me. You do 25 things yourself, whatever it is. You can do what I'm doing, or you do what you do. Just do 25 things and make sure that you're putting, something into it. Put something real into it, whatever it is, man. Don't bullshit yourself. Don't bullshit yourself. All right. So I got my stump here. 1, 2, 3, 4. Let me get a better thing. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23. Come on. 24. Come on. 25. Let's go. Come on. 26. Come on. 28. Push it. 29. 30. 31. 32. 33. Come on. 34. Push. You ain't gonna get stronger unless you push. 34. 35. 36. Come on. 37. Way more than 38. 39. 40. 41. Almost there. Let's go to 50. 41. 41. 42. 43. 44. 45. Oh shit. feel it now. 45, 46, 47, 48. 2 more. Come on, push it up. Get your ass up, boy. 50. There we go. 50. Whew, shit. For one hit of you. Whew, 50. Yeah, I felt that 50. Feel yours. Because I felt mine. Good googly moogly, I feel it. I definitely feel it. But that's what you need to do. You need to feel it. Don't bullshit yourself. Don't cheat yourself. Do something that's gonna make you feel like you're doing something. At least something. Maybe it'll help you move along, man. Get off your fat ass and move. Even if you take it 25 steps this way, 25 steps that way. Do something. Something is better than nothing. You never know. You may create a habit that you love. You may create a habit that not only you, but your family, whatever, see the changes in you, and maybe they want to make changes as well. Keep pushing. Keep pushing. Well, we'll come back next time, once again, with part 3. We'll do part 3 of the reading of chapter 9, Nuclear Winter of the Medical Apartheid by Miss Harriet A. Washington. The dark history of medical experimentation in Black Americans from colonial times into the present. Ooh-wee. Definitely a lot of awards won. Hey, definitely see why. There's a lot of awards won. Definitely a lot of information that you can tell that they would love to keep that information suppressed and not in your hands. And like this old saying goes, if you want to hide something from a nigga, put it in the book. So we're going to search and find the treasure trove that they have hid from us. I'm going to keep rolling through the sea of pages written by all these people that I'll choose to roll on and choose to pick up and see what can we learn and grow from in each of these things, each of these books. How can they help us? Growth. Growth is definitely the name of the game. Growth. Growth. We all have to grow. We all got to grow, whether you want to or not. We all have to grow. But hey, I hope y'all have a wonderful day. Man, this has been Reading with Shilo today. Man, I'm Shilo, man. I'm out here, baby. I'm out here. And I'm going to stay out here. And I'm going to keep doing my part of destroying the worlds. I'm going to get my Shiloheimer on by reading. One book at a time, one day at a time, one section at a time, one episode at a time, one chapter at a time, one part at a time. One paragraph at a time, one page at a time, here a little and there a little, till we can find the things that we need to succeed and grow. Yeah, until next time, man. Shalom, everybody. I hope y'all have a wonderful, wonderful rest of y'all day, man. If you catch it on the back end, like, comment, subscribe. I appreciate it, man. We going up. We moving up, baby. 1,000. We moving up to 1,000. The first goal, I say the second goal. The first goal was 500. I reached the 500. We surpassed that. So now the next goal is 1,000 subscribers. We are under 200 from that goal. So I'm going to keep pushing so that way the channel can keep growing. Man, I'm trying to do some things, baby. I'm trying to do some things I didn't think I could do before. So, hey, we'll see though. But shalom, everybody. Hey, if you got a question, hey, hit me up. Let me know, leave a comment. If it's something you want to read, if it's a book you may want to hear, man, let me hear about it. The only book that I've heard so far is Who is Esau? I want to say that's it. Who is Esau? That is the book that has been requested multiple times. Multiple times. For sure. I'll try to do that. Right now, yeah, I'll try to do that. Right now, the stuff that I could do, stuff on, I get kind of frustrated with. So the reading right now is the thing I feel most confident in, I guess. The reading. I do some carving. Like I need to work on. I need to finish that carving back there. I need to finish that. And I could probably do a video on that, a live on that. But you know, there's some other carvings I need to finish as well. I just hate. I don't like how the videos look when I do the carvings. I have to get a better setup. I guess. That is what it is. But hey, whatever. We're gonna keep pushing. We're gonna keep trying. Some different things. So, like UL said, we could reach other people, other areas, other venues. But those who I have reached, man, I appreciate y'all rocking with me, man. If I haven't told y'all, thank y'all. Thank y'all for rocking with me. Thank y'all for holding me down through all the in and outs of the in and outs of the up and down of the internet. I appreciate it. We'll see today. I have internet piece coming today, so it should up my internet. So we'll see. We'll see if we have better lives from here on out and how it goes. But hey, appreciate everybody once again. Shalom, y'all. Shalom, shalom, shalom. Keep doing y'all thing. Keep pushing, y'all. Let's succeed. Let's succeed because we can. We have everything we need to succeed. Let's do it. Shalom. Shalom out, man. Y'all be easy. I'm out here.